What's going on, Beach Bombs? It is Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, everybody. Thank you for being here and jumping in as we do a little more Carnival Radiance cruising talk. As I mentioned in the post, I just got off the ship, so I'm going to wait, give everybody a few minutes to kind of get in here as the YouTube sends out the notifications. But while we're waiting for everybody to get in, for those of you that got in here early, thank you. Thank you for being here early and kind of anticipating this discussion tonight. I truly appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. I put this in the chat just because I kind of want to know. I know I interact with many of you through my group, my Facebook group, or through the roll call groups, but it's just kind of nice to know what everybody has coming up. So I just threw that in there. If you are on the Radiance coming up here soon, let me know. My next one, as I mentioned in the example there, is November 11th. So I'm looking forward to that pretty much 30 days from today. Eric was in here ready to go. I don't know if he went to go get a drink. He mentioned getting a drink. So, Eric, thank you for being in here, waiting. And April also came in early. So thank you to you both. I see some other people in here. Tonight's drink of choice is coffee for this mama. Monza Manhattan. Definitely, I hear you. I see my buddy Dave in here. If I wasn't at my son's baseball practice, I'd be like, oh, gotcha. All right, no worries. I see Shimbles Fernandez. I hope I got your name correctly. Shimbles, welcome in. And Ace Max next. Oh, okay. 10:30, October 30th. Awesome. Saying hello as well. And I see Radiance March 13th for Diana Prevost. Okay, cool. So some of these are coming up and some of them are a little out, but that's good. Just jumping in and out, back to work. No worries, Shay. Thank you. Shay was one of the people I got to meet. I'll talk a little bit about that today. Finally got to meet in person this last weekend. Jeff, hey, welcome in, Jeff. Autism Abroad, we were aboard the Radiance last month and had a wonderful time. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, what's going on? Victor. Those of you that know Victor from the Chorus Plaza 2 and Ensenada, welcome in, buddy. Glad to have you here. I see Moonlight Adventures. Hey, what's going on? Welcome in. Brittany Webb, I'm going on the Radiance February 27th till March 3rd. Awesome. J Rock, I was on the Panorama September 17th, and I smelled all the seats in the casino before I played. Okay, is that for luck? I don't know if I'm going to do that, even though if it brought you good luck. I don't know if I'll do that. Miss Lisa Curry says October 30th for the Radiance. Okay, very cool, very cool. All right, we got a pretty good group in here. Hey, Tony G, what's going on, buddy? All right, so we got a pretty good group in here. I'm going to get started. Just want to make just a quick announcement. For those that are going to watch this on replay, I know some people already told me they have some obligations, kids' practices, and things like that. So I get it, and I understand. So if you're watching this on the replay, thank you, and welcome. And as I mentioned, if you're watching, also that I kind of mentioned to them privately, but if you're watching this on the replay, you can either just leave me comments on the video afterwards, and on YouTube, you can leave the comments and I'll answer your questions. If I interact with you on Facebook, you can send me the question in the Facebook group, and I'll take this moment to invite you over to my Facebook group if you're not already in there. It's currently called, I'll talk about that for a second, and I'll jump into this. It's currently called the Beach Life Cruise and Travel Community. I did make an announcement this morning. I am shifting that over to a Radiance and Long Beach Cruisers page and group, since that's really the primary focus. I didn't want this to all just be about the Beach Life YouTube channel. I wanted to build a community, which is why I made the initial name change. And I just thought I'd take it a step further and really, really kind of foster that community that I am mostly part of, and that's the Radiance and Long Beach Cruisers. Anyway, so if you want, go ahead and join that community. I won't be making that name change till the end of the month, just because Facebook's rules are you can only change names every 28 days. Okay, with that said, let's go ahead and get into this. Let me see what some of the people said here. On your last Radiance Cruise, you see a lot of people dress up for formal night. Okay, I'll address that in just a second. Oh, okay. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry. Diane Ash, you're on the same cruise as me. Perfect. Cool. Are you coming to the meet and greet? If you are, love to meet you. Come up and say hello. Kathy Collins, hello. Welcome in. Radiance on December 2nd. Awesome. Rebecca is on the panorama October 15th. Oh man, 3 days. Very, very cool. Awesome. J-Rock. Okay, J-Rock. I'd appreciate it. Just kind of keep it professional in here. I mean, I know, man, joking around a little bit, but enough of the smell seats. If not, we're gonna have to remove you from the chat. And I don't like doing that kind of stuff. I really try to keep just kind of a good flow. But if that's what's gonna happen, Jay, we may have to remove you. So please just either not comment or just be in here and asking questions, that kind of thing. All right, Shelly says February 6th. And then do they switch out the menu at the buffet, or is it all the same? Okay, let me answer your first question, April, and then I'll get into this real quick. I did go to formal night, and yeah, I would say probably a majority of the people in there were dressed to some form of formal, right? Everybody had. I've seen people in tuxedos, I've seen people in suits, I've seen people in just a nice dress shirt and slacks, I've seen people in nice jeans and a polo shirt. So whatever your opinion is of formal, I guess that's why they changed it to elegant evening. But I would say most everybody was just pretty nice. There may have been some people that were wearing t-shirts and this and that. I don't purposely go looking for that stuff or anything, but for the most part, everybody I saw was dressed pretty nice. And for your next question, do they switch out the menu at the buffet, or is it always the same? Nope, switches out daily. The menu will change. Hey there, Billy J. I see you. When is formal night? It's usually the first evening. So on the 3-day, it's the first C-day evening. So for the 3-day, it's the second evening. So on the 3-day, it would be Saturday evening. On the 4-day, it would be Tuesday evening is the formal night. Kimberly says Radiance December 19th. Awesome. You're very welcome. What's going on, Mike from Nebraska? Long time no see. Hi, Honey. Lisa from the Hawaii cruise. Thanks for being so helpful. Hey, Mike, my pleasure. You guys are going to be leaving here in 4 short days, so I am jealous. That is definitely a bucket list cruise for me. So I thank you both for allowing me to be in there to help out and answer questions and do all that stuff. So I'll be following along on your cruise. All right, let me get into this for those people, and I'll answer some questions. So I'll leave plenty of time for questions. So let me just kind of get through some of this stuff for those that are here to kind of hear some of the changes and all that, and we'll go from there. I didn't have anything formal where our service said not to worry, nobody cared. Yeah, it's not a big deal. Like I said, it's everybody has, some people are like, it's my vacation, I want to wear what I want, and I get it. I understand, and I have, like I said, that's why, my answer was I really wasn't paying attention of the people that I saw, but it doesn't really change anything for me. My meal, the taste of my meal is not going to change because somebody didn't want to, somebody wanted to wear something different. Honey, do you use your phone to record or a camera to use a gimbal stabilizer? Thank you. I use my GoPro primarily. Sometimes I'll use my phone if I don't have an extra GoPro battery or my battery. Sometimes the GoPro overheats, especially when you use the mod, media mod. But for the most part, I use my GoPro, and it has a built-in stabilizer. All right, so let's get into this. So Friday, October 7th was embarkation day for me. I had a 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Appointment time. I showed up around 10-ish. Did a little bit of recording outside, not a lot. I parked up on the second level. This has been a few cruises now where it was really busy when I got there. I used to always get some kind of parking on that ramp going up from the first level to the second level. Hasn't been the case, which is fine, no big deal. Plenty of parking on the second level. And I'll be honest with you, and I'll let you in on this little tidbit, if you will. So pro tip number 1, when you're up on that second level, when you go out, the other exit, so there's the main exit when you're coming out from level 1, but there's another exit that I'll tell you, like every time I go out of that exit, this last time there was no cars there, and I think I showed in my debarkation. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to review that footage to see if I'm going to put out that debarkation video, but I did record it as part of my debarkation. But anyway, it was really easy to get out. Also, plenty of parking up there, and some people were asking about handicap parking. Plenty of handicap parking that was in the row facing the terminal near the elevators. So definitely plenty of parking. And there was this email that went out that said, oh, there might be some parking issues because of Shacktoberfest and all that. I didn't run into any issues. I think most of the people I saw said that they didn't have any issue either. So, all right. Once I got in the terminal, this is what I think most people were kind of waiting for. So the first thing I noticed was that they had kind of 3 lines. Yeah, I guess 3 lines. People were just kind of gathered around. That's why I said kind of 3 lines, but because there's like all these people all around, kind of hovering around. So, if you're watching this, now or on the replay, just try to be aware of, look at the signs. A lot of people are just standing around and seemed a little confused. I do what I do, and I know others do. Try to help provide as much information as I can to try to help you. So, try to help yourself. So, so there was the main line for that appointment time that I had, 10 to 10:30, and then obviously they'll change it later. So the people that were in their appointment time, they had a line. And then in the middle, there was a suites line. And then on the far left, there was a line for the people that were early or late. And they were allowing people in through that way as well. So, keep that in mind. But if you come in early or come in late, that line might be a little bit longer. Whereas the appointment time, people were held up, unfortunately, because some people were not reading the signs that are very clearly visible that, this is the appointment time for 10 to 10:30, and they were there, and they were most of them were early for a later appointment time, holding up the 10 to 10:30. So please, read the signs and make sure that you're not holding up the people that are there and, in their line. So that was one thing I wanted to point out. Let me just go to the chat here real quick. Hi, Hani, leaving Sunday for Hawaii. Thanks for the helpful info. Amy, you're very welcome. And again, I was mentioning earlier to Lisa, I'm so jealous. This is a bucket list cruise for me. So I'll be living vicariously through all of you guys. Enjoy that Hawaii cruise. All right. Do they have food in the terminal or a bar? They do not, Eric. There used to be a concession stand in the back. No food or, there's no food or beverages inside. So, hey, what's going on, Eric? You're very welcome. Hani, can you speak to any priority boarding, suites, A1, etc.? Absolutely. So when you get to the boarding phase, the only priority boarding they were doing was for the suite guests. The thing I heard that was said was basically, the platinum and diamond guests are getting early check-in, right? So we get to check in 2 days before everybody else. So through that, we're getting basically the A01 boarding group. So there's not that many suite guests, as you can imagine. So, technically we are right behind them in that sense, the platinum and diamonds, if you check in 2 days early. If you don't, that's on you, right? So Lisa, yeah. So really, most of the people that I spoke to that were platinum diamond had the A1 and boarded in the A1 group like myself. So, but it was suites, and then they started right away into the A1 group. Someone needs to set up a food truck bar. Yeah, no kidding. You know what? That's funny that you say that, because there's money to be made there. Definitely a missed opportunity. And I think as California starts to relax a little bit more and more, I'm guessing maybe some of that has to do with California slowly opening back up or maybe being further behind than others or whatever. That's not a political statement. It is what it is. They've been really cautious and wanted to wait. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to reopen the concession stand inside, or if not, like you said, some food trucks. Some food trucks maybe out in that like overflow lot or something like that wouldn't be a bad idea. So yeah, definitely. Brittany says, "Is February a good time to cruise?" I cruised last February. I think it was like mid-February. It was cold. Yeah, it was fine. It was nice. And again, this was like, cruising was still starting back up. So I don't know if it was that, or because of the weather, or because of the kids being in school. It wasn't that packed, and I'll talk about that here, hopefully here in a bit, about, the ship was super packed, probably more than I can remember it, which is crazy, because I was thinking summer months would have been the worst, but this October one, granted, it was a holiday weekend because of Columbus Day, but it was that ship was packed. I mean, it was packed to the gills. So I'll talk about that. But if you don't mind, wearing some warm clothes when you're out on the Lido deck in the evening time, especially, and things like that, it's actually not a bad time to cruise. Now, if you want to go and do like any water sports, if you're on the sailing that goes to Catalina and things like that, probably wouldn't want to do it because the water's always cold in the Pacific, but definitely the weather will be cold and the water will be even colder. Yeah, let's see here. Got it. Thank you. We have A1, so it's all good. Yeah, you'll definitely be good. I got on, and you'll see in my video, as soon as they started boarding, it was like 11-ish, maybe 11:01, whatever. I think you'll see my embarkation day video if you watch it, or if you don't, it's okay. I mentioned that I'm out on the Lido deck. That's why I've done my muster at this point, this and everything else. I'm out the Lido deck going to get something to eat. It was like 11:17. So, yeah, not a bad deal at all. They definitely used to have a taco food truck before COVID. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, that they don't. You cruised February 4th last year. Oh, thank you, Shelly. Yeah, because you were there, right? Thank you. Yeah, I knew it was like sometime in February. Thanks for keeping me honest there. Have you cruised in December? I wonder if the pools will still be open. I believe they had them open even in January and February. I kind of recall them being open, if I remember correctly. I don't remember them being occupied. I'm trying to remember, January, the water slides were open. And the reason why I remember that, because they had somebody filling in for Ryan Rose. He had to leave. He was a cruise director at the time, and they had somebody filling in, and they did this thing where they went down the water slides for Group for St. Jude. So I know that at least the water slides were open. So I'm guessing the pool was. I didn't cruise in December. My friends did on the Radiance. But yeah, I'm almost positive they were open, if I remember correctly, and from the videos I saw. Let's see here. Eric, nice talking to you on the Seafood Shack. See you around. Hey, it was nice talking to you and your wife. But it was very nice. Yeah, it was definitely a nice conversation at Seafood Shack, man. I love me some Seafood Shack. You're welcome, Brittany. Thank you. Met a lot of great people. Eric was definitely one of those people. It's met so many awesome people on the ship. I love that people now are feeling more comfortable coming up and saying hello. I kind of put it out there. Please, if you see me, come up and say hello. Best thing I ever ate on a cruise ship. I'll tell you, at the steakhouse, I really, really love that spice rubbed ribeye. It's really, really good. One of my favorite things. And at the Seafood Shack, I really enjoy I mean, it's not a big deal, but the peel and eat shrimp. I love that they put the Old Bay on it, give you the drawn butter and lemon and all that. So, hey, Tamiko, welcome in. All right, so let me finish talking about the terminal. So when you come in, okay, so you have the 3 lines I mentioned outside. You go in, and you'll be guided to those, tabletops. That remains the same. The difference there is they're doing more of the verification that they used to do. Anything else that they would have normally done in the last checkpoint, they're doing at that tabletop. She asked me right away, do you have Verifly? I told her, no, I don't use Verifly. So she's like, okay, no problem. Check my boarding pass, check my vaccination card, check my passport, check, and took her a little bit. I think it was more the employee than the actual process, to be honest with you. Most of them go really, really fast. This one was not, and that's okay, no big deal. And then once she was done checking and verifying everything, because I even told her, I said, I don't know that Verify would have really helped in this particular case because it would have only been my vaccination card. And she said, no, it's okay. I just have to check everything. And I said, no problem. And then so she then took my boarding pass and was explaining to me everything on my boarding pass, which, again, I didn't have the heart to tell her, hey, I already know. But, so I kind of listened to her spiel and let her do her thing, explained, hey, when you get on the ship, go get something to eat or your mustard, blah, 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 right? So so that took a little bit longer. Again, I think it was more of the employee than it was the process, but we'll see when I go back in November. Once I passed that, I went to the security check. That is exactly the same. Nothing's changed there. Metal detector, X-ray scanner, just like at an airport. No, nothing different there. Once you pass that, here's one thing that's different. Just before you walk into that terminal area, they kind of have it roped off, if you will, and you have to show your boarding pass to there's a couple employees there. They check your boarding pass one more time before you actually go inside the terminal to go sit down or whatever. I believe they added that because my last cruise in August, they checked it a second time upstairs. When you do your face check before you get on the gangway, they were doing the second check. So this time they did the second boarding pass check right there. And normally they would also do that at that 4th check-in point down in the terminal, which has been removed. And let me talk about that. Perfect segue. So that last row, for those of you that have been there before, and if you haven't, they had this long row, like a big counter, where they have a bunch of employees, where before they used to check your boarding pass and passport. That's the part that's been removed. That's the part that's changed. I believe it's a great thing. And the reason why, because they're just basically double checking what was already being checked earlier. So now they've cleaned that up a little bit, which is great. Also, the other benefit is now it's there for people that have missing documentation. If you have documents like travel documents from outside the United States, if you want to add cash to your account, your cruise account, you want to change your credit card, little customer service stuff. So I like it. I like it because that helps the guest services people as well to take care of some of that stuff. Let's see if I'm missing anybody or anything. Yeah, super fast process. It was longer to wait and get on the ship, more when you are so excited. Yeah, I agree. I feel like, it was always, in my opinion, even before they made this little subtle change, I felt like Long Beach does it really, really well. And I feel like the benefit of this very, what I believe, subtle changes is having that area go back to what it was pre-pandemic, and that was that it was a customer service area. So that I truly enjoyed, and I'm glad for especially newer cruisers and that kind of thing. Okay, so once I got into the terminal, said hello to a few people and stuff, but I wanted to go verify something that I had heard. So I think I've mentioned to some of you that follow me closely that I have a friend that works at the port, and I verify a lot of information. I created a cruise terminal, Long Beach Cruise Terminal cheat sheet. If you need access to that, come join me at my Facebook group. It's pinned up there. So if you're watching this on the replay, again, another reason to join the Facebook group, I have that document. I have a Carnival Cruise First Timers document. I have a Carnival Radiance food document that I built. So I'm building all these little cheat sheets, if you will, to just help out newer cruisers. So again, if you're a newer cruiser watching this, come join us. Come join the community. I think we're brushing up on 2,000 members, which is amazing. I love it. So, okay. So once I got in there, I was trying to verify something that I had heard about. And if you're unvaccinated, either in the chat or watching this later, so you still have to do a COVID test for now. I don't know when they plan on changing that. It could be this week, next month, who knows, right? I've heard rumors that it will be not until the end of the year, but those are just rumors. So I don't believe it as fact until I can verify it. This I did verify. I verified it with the port employee, and then I verified it again when I was at the port. So if you are unvaccinated, do your COVID test. All you need to do is take your test, your negative COVID test, put it on a piece of paper, put your name and date of birth at the top of that piece of paper, take a picture of it, and take that with you. They prefer that you didn't bring your test with you. Some people do, whatever, that's fine. They prefer that you didn't bring your nose swab with you. But anyway, that's fine. If you want to, go ahead. But all they need is a picture of it sitting on a piece of paper with your name and date of birth. Should you not have it, and one, I don't know if Regina's in here, but Regina's an awesome person I met on the cruise. She had somebody traveling with her that had an issue with the COVID test, or didn't have it. I can't remember the details. But anyway, so I said to her, hey, from what I heard, you could actually do the test there at the port. So if you forget, I don't know, something happens, the test doesn't work right, who knows, right? You could do the test there at the port. It's $15 per person, or 2 for $25. So very cheap compared to the $100 a lot of people were paying, for the vaccinated people were paying to have a COVID test. Much, much cheaper and easier. Or you could bring the test with you there. They said you can bring your own test and do it for free right in front of them. You could do your test as well. So those are your three options. Bring it with you on a photo, bring the test with you, do it there, or pay for the test if again, you don't have it with you. So there's that. And of course, if there are any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. I'm just kind of watching out of the corner of my eye, see if there's any questions. The other thing that I saw, and this is in the video, so a little bit spoiler, but I kind of want to want people to watch the video. There's some other things in there, but one thing that I learned that I didn't know, this was new for me. So again, I find things out, I share them with you. I didn't realize there was arcade games in the back. So when I went to go talk to those, the two ladies working at the testing desk, just to the right of them, kind of back up against the wall, there was like old school arcade games. I saw there's some Tetris and there were maybe some other ones. It was really cool. I didn't look at what all the games were. I just remember seeing Tetris because nobody was at that game, and that's what I put in my video. So if you want to know where it's located, etc., that will be in the video I'll be releasing probably tomorrow. most likely tomorrow or latest Friday. So that was kind of cool. Didn't realize that those arcade games were back there. Let's see here. Talked about the COVID test, arcade area, the terminal. That was really cool. Boarding started around 11 a.m. As I mentioned. By the time I got on, I went, and that, the other cool thing is when I walked into the terminal, walked onto the cruise ship. They told me right away, hey, go do your muster, which I don't remember. They may have. I'm not saying they didn't. So please don't say, oh, well, they did to me. I just don't recall. But I remember thinking to myself, oh, wow, okay. They were saying, go to deck 4, which you come in on deck 3, the next level up. So then I go up to deck 4 and go out and do your muster. So I was like, cool, good. They're reminding people. And I don't know. I'm hoping that this maybe started, maybe it started September because I didn't cruise in September. So I don't know. So if you're going to tell me, yeah, they told me that, there's a chance they did this. I just don't remember it from August. So anyway, be kind. So it was cool. So I went up there and went and did my muster. It was real quick. I think I was in muster station B, boy. And I did grab screenshots. So stay tuned in my Facebook group. I'll share the screenshots of where all the muster stations are located because I hear that question all the time. Where are the muster stations on the ship? So I did take screenshots of where they all are, and I'll share those in my Facebook group. So another reason to join. Again, I'm always trying to share information. No worries, Blaine. I appreciate you being here. I know you're packing for your cruise. Happy cruising to you here. What time does the terminal open? That's a good question, Eric. I don't know when it officially opens. I'll have to make a note of that. I'll watch the replay and try to remember to ask my port employee friend what time. I don't know. If somebody knows that answer, feel free to answer it. But I'd have to get the answer for you as to what time they'll start boarding. I chose the earliest appointment time available, which was 10. But I don't know if they opened the doors earlier than that. Okay, so that was cool that they reminded me at the muster drill. I went and did it. It was so quick. Now, one thing that I heard, again, you know me, I always like to try to verify stuff, but I will mention I heard it, but I can't verify it. And in this case, I heard this, but didn't verify it, that they weren't allowing people to buy drinks until they did the muster drill. If that's the case, good. I know that they make a lot of money off the drinks, and I know Carnival is probably slow to do that. But if that's what they did, good for them. It takes literally minutes to do the muster drill. You can wait. I was hungry. I was starving. I didn't have any breakfast, but I still went and knocked out the muster drill quick. So you can wait to get your drink, wait to get your food, go do that muster drill, 2 minutes, and then go off and have your vacation. Not all heroes wear capes. Amazing info to know muster prior to boarding. Thank you. Yeah, I'll tell you, it's the little things, right? To just to make sure that people are aware. Hey, what's going on, Pepito? Just got the alert. No worries. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes Facebook's kind of weird with that stuff. But thanks for being here. Appreciate it. It's a truth. Okay, yeah, and that's what I had heard before, Lisa. That's why I didn't know if the person that mentioned it maybe got it wrong or whatever. So I don't know if that's changed because that's what I remember it being. It was a 2-drink max. But this person said they weren't able to buy a drink until they mustered. Again, it was one person that said it, and I did verify the information. I should have, but yeah. So we'll see. We'll find out. I'll have to ask in the roll call group, see if anybody can verify that. So yeah. So I went, like I said, by the time I got to the Lido deck to go decide to get something to eat, it was around 11:17. I remember saying that in the video or something like that. And you'll notice also if you watch the video, there's no line at the Blue Iguana, no line at I called it Shacks in the video. I did kind of correct it. It was at Guy's Burger. I had Shack on the brain, but I ended up going to Pig and Anchor. Right? Anyway, long story short, I went to Pig and Anchor. I hadn't tried it in a while. I wanted to kind of give it another try just right when I first got on the ship. I wanted to make sure it was open. One thing I realized or found out was they didn't open until 11:30, which is kind of a bummer because the food was ready. It was all out there. You'll see that. I have a video coming out for that. It was all there, wrapped up in the saran wrap or whatever. But it's the reason why I say it was a bummer. I waited, but I like my food temperature hot, and I feel like the longer it sat there, it had it wasn't, especially barbecue. Like, I don't know, I'm not a barbecue expert by any means. My man Pepito is, but I could tell you, cold barbecues. I don't know anybody that likes cold barbecue, so I wasn't. It wasn't like cold, like fridge cold, but it could have been warmer. So that was a bummer. I did try. I tried like a little bit of everything, and I'll have a video coming out on that. But so that's the only thing I'll just kind of mention is that I was just kind of bummed that temperature hot. It wasn't. So and then on same thing on embarkation day, the other thing that I want to point out is we did a meet and greet. And for those of you that don't normally join Facebook groups, I would highly recommend it, especially if you're traveling solo or new to cruising. Join those Facebook groups. Join the meet and greets if they have them. If they had a bar crawl, I hosted a bar crawl. I'll talk about that in a second. But the meet and greet was great. We had a really large gathering there. I posted some of those pictures today on my Facebook group. Had a really large gathering, met a lot of amazing people that, you know, I'd been interacting with. A lot of us had been interacting with each other in the Facebook group. So it was really, really nice to kind of see each other and hang out. And then from there, we went up to the sail away party. And then a lot of those same people came to the bar crawl the next day. So, so kind of a segue into that. So the next day, hey, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. Yeah, let's go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Just let YouTube know that you're liking the content, and it just keeps my stuff getting pushed out there. So we can continue to grow this little cruise family that we have here. Okay, so the bar crawl. First one that I'm hosting, my friends Mike and Betsy at Beach Please had hosted a few of them in past cruises that I've gone in, the Horizon recently, the Halloween cruise last year. And I've always had such a good time at it. And I'm not a huge drinker, but I just enjoy the activity of being together and laughing and joking and having a good time. So I decided to host one, and this was kind of like okay, I want to see if I do this again. I did commit to one in December. I know, April, you're going to hold me to it, I'm sure, but I'm still planning on doing that one. I didn't host one for my November 11th cruise because I just wasn't sure. You know, I wanted to get the logistics down, make sure I, was good with it. And anyway, so, but December 2nd, I will host my second one on that cruise. And then I'll probably be doing it every cruise that I'm on. If somebody else, hosts it, that's great. If not, I will definitely be happy to host it. And I put a video together for two reasons. One, because a lot of people are not aware of it, just like I wasn't. I had friends, luckily, that I could go to and say, hey, what do I do? So in this video, I explained what I had to do to get this bar crawl going. And then also for people that just want to attend one to see what the bar crawl is like. So watch for that video. That'll be coming out soon as well. Talking about videos, I did another one in Ensenada, so that will be coming out, and then a cabin tour. I just wanted to mention this because I didn't want to forget. I did another. I see a woo. What is that? High fives, April. Yeah. Hi, Najuma. Welcome in. And Kathy Collins says, woo. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. So April, everybody, Kathy. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a really good time. I can't wait to put that video out. Yeah, the last part of the video of me kind of wrapping it up, that was like 5 shots in, and yeah, that was fun. So anyway, the cabin tour. So I had the same cabin category as I did on the Horizon, the 4J interior. That's the one that faces the secret decks. Okay. Let me tell you something. Kudos to the Radiance, and I, it is what it is. But I loved this 4J interior on the Radiance, not just because I'm a Radiance guy, right? More than the Horizon. The main thing is, if you guys remember, for my biggest complaint about the one on the Horizon was the lack of storage. This one, I still had plenty of storage space, had the shelves or the cabinets on the vanity, definitely plenty of space. And I was by myself in this one, so I didn't need as much space as the one when I was on the Horizon, where I shared with my buddy Mark. So yeah, it was awesome. I would highly recommend, if you're cruising by yourself or even a second person, that 4J interior was a great room. It was nice because I had a huge window. It was like an ocean view window, obviously just facing a deck and not the ocean. But yeah, for the price, can't beat it. Did you need to forewarn the crew of the bar crawl? So yeah, I explained that in the video, but yeah, so you need to go and tell the guest services to talk to the bar manager. The bar manager called me, and it was a busy cruise, and I mentioned that earlier. So he said it's going to be a busy cruise. Can we, I originally had 7 bars. We pushed it down to 5 bars, and then we modified some of the drinks that we did. Hey, Tess Almond, I see you in there. Welcome in. Hey, Chuck, I see you as well. Welcome in. Am I missing anybody? Anyway, so yeah, you need to let the bar manager know, coordinate. And what he did is gave us an awesome bartender. I'm gonna ask for him again in December and every other time as long as he's there. He was amazing, and it just so happened he actually was a bartender on the Panorama when I was on there in October. So that was really cool. It's amazing what they remember. He's the one that told me. I didn't remember him, but he remembered me. But anyway, yeah. So you just have to let the bar manager know and coordinate with the bar manager to answer your question. Want to say something about CCL offered insurance? Get it if you don't have other travel insurance. Okay. And I don't know if you want to share more than that. Is there a specific reason? I mean, obviously, it's always good to have insurance. I mean, we have car insurance, we have health insurance for that reason. But yeah, I'm guessing there's a reason. I got a full okay, there you go. I got a full refund on a $4,200 cruise that I had to cancel. Oh, I remember that. There was an issue that you had to cancel. Wow. Okay. Good to know. So if you're not going to get third-party insurance, then yeah, that Carnival insurance is a good option. Yeah, wow, $4,200 refunded back. That's awesome. Is the ship fully staffed now? Kathy, that's an excellent question, and probably a good segue into this next part. I would say don't get CCL insurance. Use another company. CCL's doesn't cover near as much policies I found and costs more. I've got a full refund through them as well for my mom. Okay, but I do want to go back to Kathy's question because this was something I kind of went back and forth if I wanted to talk about this or not, because me, I always try to keep it positive, but I also try to keep it real, right? And maybe it was just this cruise. It was really, really busy, and I felt like I don't know this is as much as a staffing issue, but I'll touch on why I feel like part of it is a staffing issue. The ship was like, those that know me. I'm about the parties, the fun, the deck parties, the comedy, those kind of things. Comedy show, unless you show up early, you're standing off to the side watching on a monitor, or you may or may not even get a seat. You might be just standing around wherever. Same thing with the nightclub. It was just super packed on the dance floor. So most of the time you're just on the outskirts, or you're going to be in there in like people soup to try to dance. The deck party, same thing. It was just packed. And unless you got there early, you were kind of on the outskirts. So for me, just me personally, it was kind of a bummer because those are things I really enjoy. I'm not, like everybody cruises for different reasons. Some just like to go and relax and whatever stuff, but I really enjoy those things. So it's kind of a bummer. And that has nothing to do with staffing. That just has to do with that there was a lot of people. And, I put this in my survey. If there's a way, especially things that are in the late evening, like I understand they use the Liquid Lounge to practice for the Payless production. So it's not always available even if they don't have a show. But I figure late in the evening, maybe do the comedy shows in there, maybe do the nightclub in there, maybe do some of these things in there because there's a lot more space in the Liquid Lounge. So anyway, I suggested that. I don't know if that's possible. So anyway, as far as fully staffed, here's what I did notice, and this is the reason why I wanted to bring it up. As I was just having dinner with a few of the people that that I was on this cruise with or I'm hanging out with, I told them what I noticed is that, and this was even early on, like after cruising restarted, you saw the head waiter was very active with the table. You would interact with all 3 of the wait staff, right, at some point in your meal. And I feel like the head waiters are almost invisible, which again, this is not a complaint. This is just an observation. And I want to answer the question that Kathy's asking here. So that was the one area that it was kind of very visible or obvious to me, was that the head waiter was almost, like I said, almost invisible. They're doing their best to get everything out to you and everything like that. The reason I pointed out is I want people to be aware of it and just be patient. For the people that have cruised before, I want you to be aware of it and be patient and understand if it's truly not what you want anymore. Maybe it's time to find another cruise line. Just understand that this is where it's at right now with Carnival. At least that's how it was on the Radiance. So just, instead of taking it, I see some people taking it out on the staff, and I didn't like that. I sometimes have to kind of keep my mouth shut. It's like they're doing the best they can, right? And the way that the person next to me at the table was talking to the staff member was really upsetting. But anyway, it is what it is. So for me, as being a more seasoned cruiser, I know what I'm missing, and I was kind of bummed. But let me just make sure I didn't miss anything, and I'll come back to this topic because I think it's important to talk about it. Honey's our shampoo, conditioner, and body wash in the room. Shampoo and body wash, you have to bring your own conditioner, but they do have shampoo and body wash. If you're like really picky about your shampoo and body wash because it's pretty basic stuff, you might want to bring that as well. But they do have shampoo and body wash. I think based on what I'm seeing and reading, it's okay. And those that know, I don't really follow all the other cruise lines. It's okay. I admit it. I'm more of a Carnival guy. Well, maybe not all, but definitely not just Carnival. Okay. Thank you, Tess, for sharing that because I wasn't sure. I really wasn't. And that's the thing, so maybe sometimes people think the grass is greener, but as Tess is saying, other cruise lines are struggling. So I'm saying it not from a complaint perspective. I'm saying it as hey, just be aware of it and just please don't take it out on the staff. It's not their fault, right? They're doing the best they can. And like I said, it was more for awareness or anything. Does anybody have that's rude behavior? Thank God I have a big mouth with no filter. Yeah, I normally I do, but maybe part of it is just because, especially nowadays, right? They have a zero tolerance policy. Like I would hate to put myself in a situation where I end up being banned from cruising, right? Because I was trying to do the right thing, but so that's the thing I have to just really be careful with. And even like when we're at the adult game show that they had it on Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night. And there's some very intoxicated gentlemen that were out there being very rude to Dion, the cruise director, to the fun squad, not listening, just walking out on the thing as the game is going on and just being very disruptive. And the staff was being very, very lenient with them. And somebody basically told the guy to, sit the F down, one of the guys. And so that guy screams back at that guy. Cause like, that's what I felt like telling the guy. Right. But this other guy actually did it. And then they kind of went and Dion basically said, hey, don't worry about it. And then eventually security ended up taking him out. So yeah, it's unfortunate. It does suck. I experienced it back in March. It was the celebration, first time at 100% and not fully. Something was nuts. I hated it for the crew. They worked so hard, hoping our October horizon's better. Yeah, I didn't notice it so much on the horizon. Do they say showtime? You know what? And again, I usually go early and get out of there pretty early because especially on these short cruises, you got to keep going because things are happening constantly. But I didn't notice it. I did notice that they had a lady singing, but they didn't do the dancing part of it. And I wonder if that's part. And please let me know if anybody else went to a later dinner and I just missed it because I left earlier. But I didn't notice that they did the dancing. They just had one staff member singing Proud Mary, I think it was. And I wonder if that was part of it, is that now you're taking all these, they're already, short-staffed or busy, and then you're taking them away from that to do this, the singing or the dancing. And maybe that was something they stopped because of that. I don't know, Mike. And now that you mentioned that, if somebody else did see it on a recent cruise, let me know. But I don't know if I didn't see it because I left early or not. So which game shows on the Radiance are kids able to watch a game show as well? No, not this one. This was an adult game show. I don't think on the 3-day they had any kind of game show that I saw. You might want to double check the schedules that I posted. So that's another thing I do on my cruise group is I get the daily activity sheets and share them on in the Facebook group. So double check in there, April. I don't remember there being a game show, but the one I'm speaking about, no, definitely no kids allowed. Very adult themed. Rude drunk people. Oh, I drink, but that's no reason to excuse. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people drink. Right? If you think about it, on a cruise ship, a lot of people are drinking, so that's definitely not an excuse at all. I agree, and I'm glad, and I hope Carnival will truly enforce these new policies. We'll see, right? The new policies they put in place to try to do that. I think if you go to a land restaurant, service is not what it once was. It is what it is, and I will always make the best. Yeah, Kathy, that is an excellent point, which is why I'm totally patient and understanding, even though that I did enjoy that engagement, with the staff, the head waiter, et cetera. That was part of my enjoyment of cruising, but I get it. Did it make my cruise any less, fun? No. Did it ruin my cruise? No, all those things. So I get it. Yeah, I understand. And I don't go to a lot of restaurants on land because early on, as you mentioned, and I'm sure it sounds like the same thing, there's a lot of service and staffing issues. And so I'd much rather just, grab something to eat and bring it home or whatever. That's one of my favorite things, to dance with the crew in the MDR. Yeah, again, I'm not saying that it's completely gone. Maybe I just left early enough to where they did bring a lady out to sing Primary. I do know that. I just don't know if I missed it. They did the showtime in March. Yeah, they did have the showtime before. I just don't know if recently they moved it. And I've seen it in other ships in recent vlogs. Yeah. In July and August, they danced about 6:37-ish. Okay. And again, maybe they are still doing it, and I just missed it because I left early. Yeah, and keep in mind, I only ate in the main dining room on formal night. So Friday night I ate at the steakhouse. Saturday night on formal elegant night I ate at the main dining room, and the last night I ate at the seafood shack. That's when I saw that guy Eric. I ate at the seafood shack. So I only ate in the main dining room once. So again, I don't have a huge point of reference. Oh, yes, love the new policies. I think they will enforce it for no other reason than the bad press they're getting. That's a big deal to a struggling business. I agree because, they definitely need to. Losing those people is not going to hurt them, to be honest with you. I think they'll lose more potential cruisers because of these bad people. Who cares if they remove these bad people? Who cares if they don't come back? So I really dine out on land anymore. High prices and sucky price. Yeah. Sucky service, yeah, I got you. If you truly relax on a cruise, then you shouldn't get so upset over service issues. We have always been treated like gold by all. Yeah, and I don't think this is what you're implying, Chuck. But I don't think. For me, I wish it was more of just the interaction, right? And I always get treated like gold. I agree. I just missed that interaction, and that was one of the fun things I remember. Like when we sailed on the Vista just before the shutdown in October 2019. We had such a good time that week, and it was my wife and kids and my mom and dad. And we had such a good time with our head waiter and staff. We had little nicknames for each other. It was such a good time. So that's the only reason why I'm pointing it out. Again, not a complaint. It was just an observation that for those of us that have been doing it for a while. And that kind of leads me, let me know if you have any other questions, and I'll probably wrap it up here in about 13 minutes. Unless people have more questions, I'll stay on. But one of the things that some people have said, and based off of a statement or an interview or whatever it was from the new CFO with Carnival, and I know this is not Radiance related, but again, I kind of want to mention this, that whatever he said, they were implying that they were catering more towards newer cruisers. And, I kind of wondered, are these people just trying to make a mountain out of a molehill? Are there conspiracy theories? But then something kind of came to my mind. I wonder, and again, Carnival's a for-profit business, right? They're corporations like that. And I kind of wonder, are they okay with losing some of the people that know the difference, right? And cater to the newer cruisers because they don't know any better, right? So they're not going to complain as much. They're going to be okay with cutbacks. They're going to be okay with all these things. Not saying that some of us seasoned cruisers are not, but I'm sure most of you are in part of these larger Facebook groups where you hear the constant complaining, right, about the food quality, the staffing shortages, some are even saying the staff isn't as nice anymore, whatever, right? So I think, and again, this is just Hani's opinion, so take it for what it's worth. I think Carnival may be conceding to those people and just saying, yeah, it's fine. If you want to go elsewhere, sorry. We can't change what it is right now because we're trying to recover as a company, as a business. I get that. So if that's where he was kind of going with it, but in a more softer touch, right? Because that's what they do in their corporate speak. If that's where he was going with it, I get it and I understand it. I'll still hang around, but I know a lot of people are ready to move on. And I get that as well. So folks should spend time on gray ships. They'll never complain. Yeah, right. Exactly. The best time to get the one-on-one personal interaction is day one before the crowds hit or slow times. I made crew friends because they had and took time to just chat, and I love that. Right, of course, and that's the thing. I mean, there's still the ability to interact with the crew when it's slow, when people are at port, right? So some people stay on the ship. But man, you go to the bars; those bartenders are hopping, so it's not like you can interact with them a whole bunch, right, without holding them up. At the dinners, again, same thing. They're rushing to, even at the specialty restaurants, right, the steakhouse, things like that. So again, not a complaint. It is what it is. It's a sign of the times, and we just have to be understanding and forgiving. I feel like shorter cruises equals more partying. I hope our 14 days is more chill than that. One of my friends had done the Hawaiian cruise, and she loves to party and all that. And she said it was definitely for her, it was definitely more chill than she wanted it to be. So yeah, absolutely. I think you'll see that. You're not going to get a lot of kids, right? Because not many kids are going to be able to be out of school that long. And most people, so you'll see probably a lot more retired people that can do those longer cruises, that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely a different vibe, baby, for sure. I'm not moving on. They keep throwing free ones at me. 5 booked on CCL, 1 on NCL. Yeah, same thing for me. I've said this a million times. As long as they keep throwing me good deals, I'm good. I'll make it work. I'll always have fun, have a good time. Even at these deck parties, as I mentioned, yeah, they were packed and this and that. I hung out on the outskirts, listened to the music, did my dances, whatever. It's like that. So yeah, it's totally fine with me, and I can still book more, but I have to decide when I can fit them in for 2024. Hopefully, one will be out of California, and I get to meet you. Likewise, Tess. Hopefully, that would be awesome. Ask the crew members about their homeland and life. They love to talk about. I agree, Chuck. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I miss. I love to party, but the 4-day cruises, some people go beyond partying and more like frat parties. That's my thing. Yeah. But I want to go back to Chuck's comment. And that's the thing. Like, that was what I really, really enjoyed. And I'm really conscious of the fact that they're busy. So I try not to bother them too much and like try to have these conversations and stuff with them, because I know how they feel, right? They want to talk to you, because they want to be courteous, they don't want to ignore you, but they also know that they're all thinking, oh man, I got to get this guy's food, this person their water, or whatever, so I get it. I understand. Like I said, this, those of you guys that know me, been following me a long time, I always try to keep it positive and understanding. I'm just, my whole thing is just trying to share this information so people kind of know what to expect. This is how it is right now. Could get better, could get worse. We don't know, right? So as I interact and get on these cruises and do these things, I'll continue to share them with you. So, and just be as honest as I can. Yeah, I always look. I try to be respectful. Like if it's a female, not try to stare at the chest. So usually I'll ask a female. But if it's a guy, I'll look down and look to see where they're from. But yeah, I love. I try to be positive too, but facts are facts. No, I get it, right? And I understand that. That's exactly what I'm saying here, is that I'm trying to keep it positive, but also trying to share facts, and it's definitely one of those things where you have to, yes, drunken rudeness, absolutely. All right, guys. Any other questions? We got about 7 minutes left, but if there's no other questions, I will wrap it up. That's really all I had to cover for today. Again, I'm going to wrap up for anybody that might be watching this on the replay. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so, as I'm continuing my climb to continue to grow this channel. Again, I'm doing this for fun. I have a full-time job that pays me. This is all for fun and building a community and meeting awesome people like all of these people that are in here. So please give that a consideration. Also consider joining the Facebook group, where I'm trying to share a lot of this information as well. So go ahead and do that as well. I saw a question, so sorry I got thrown off, or a comment. It looks like short staff cruise ship makes us feel like home. Most of our restaurants are understaffed. Some put out signs on Facebook posts saying expect delays. Okay, yeah, and I haven't been curious. What is your job? So I'll answer that one question or 1 second. But to Mike's point, see, and that's the thing. Like I literally, I think I went to dinner with some friends at Texas Roadhouse just maybe a few weekends ago. And it seemed okay. It wasn't bad. I did notice, like, I ordered my steak, I think it was medium, and I got it almost pretty much well done. Things like that. But I don't know. Like, I'm a pretty patient person, and I tend to, whether it's on land or on cruise, I try to, like, kind of consider all of the different things before I, unless the service is just terrible, the person's rude, or whether. You're welcome, Chuck. So, Tess, I work for a software company that specializes in, like, government software, basically, is at the end of it. So, yeah, I don't share a lot about my personal. I try to. That was the whole thing. And here's the thing. I'll end with this note. That's why I moved away from using my personal Facebook, and I moved to this Honey Beach Life account to just interact with that within the cruise and Facebook community. I just try to keep the two separate. My personal life is my personal life. My work life is my work life. I don't want the two meshing, or crossing over in any way. That's just my personal preference. So yeah, that was one of the reasons why. But tips: look at menus, figure out what you want before you go to the MDR and order right away. Also, pick up a drink on the way. Bar service in the MDR not so great these days. So for those of you that are watching this that don't know what MDR is, main dining room. It's just an abbreviation for the main dining room. Cool. At the beach, I used to work for a software company with the state contract. Now I work for the state. Okay, cool. Oh yes, dirty martini for brie dinner cocktail. Completely understand. Me too. Yeah, I figured you'd understand. You're welcome, Shelly, for sure. Okay, guys and gals, I think that's about it. Again, if you have any questions, again, for those watching on the replay, just drop them in the comments. I always answer all the questions or comments on the YouTube video itself. Or if you're part of the Facebook group, go ahead and ask the question in the Facebook group, or join the Facebook group and ask it in there if you're not already there. Got to hop off. Thanks for the info. You're welcome, Lisa. Take care. So with that, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. So again, I thank you all for being here, hanging in there as we talk through all this stuff. I appreciate the conversation. Have a good night as well, Kathy. Thanks, honey. You're welcome. I always enjoy these conversations and interacting with everybody. So with that, happy Wednesday. Hopefully the rest of this week will go by really quick. Have a good evening, everybody. Talk to y'all soon.